Probably the most commonly asked question I get in the comments is, hey, Azul, how do you think I should invest? And I think it's poor form on YouTube to give specific investment recommendations because I don't know your situation. But if you promise not to tell anyone, today I'm going to give you my top 5 return on investment ideas, and be sure to stick around for the last one because I think it's the one with the biggest potential. So let's go for a walk and I'll share these ideas with you. Okay, so you can probably tell I'm saying some of this tongue-in-cheek. I'm not going to give you specific stocks or companies to invest in, but I am going to share with you some things that I think give you your highest return on investment. And the first one is money that you spend to create memories. You know, we create our lives and live our lives through a series of memories. We're constantly generating memories, both good ones and bad ones. And obviously, I think the positive return on investment is for the good memories, right? But, you know, we retire when the time comes to retire. We retire as much on our memories as we do on our bank accounts. And I think that's something critical to keep in mind, that, you know, our experiences, our memories, the fun things that we've been able to do in our lives, I think those are invaluable. And they can be every bit as valuable as money in the bank. Now, you need both, right? But it would be a shame to get to be the age where you're going to retire and not have some good memories to look back on and say, man, I had a lot of fun in my 20s. You know, probably in my case, I had too much fun in my 20s. In my 30s and 40s, I had a lot of fun too. For many of us, that involves raising our kids, and that's as much work as it is fun. But those are great memories as well. And then in your 50s and 60s, facing the empty nest for the first time, and being able to reconnect with your spouse and do things that you weren't able to do for many years while you were raising your kids. So number one investment, number one return on investment is memories. And remember, be sure to stick around for the last one because I think it's the most powerful of all of these. The second is activities. You know, anything that puts a skip in your step, it warms your heart, and hopefully it takes your breath away. I think spending money on activities and adventures is money that you're going to look back on and say, you know, I got a lot of return from the money that I invested in that experience. Now, I'm not a fan of stuff. You know, the joy of buying stuff, we all know this, it wears off super quickly, right? It's buying that nice car, it's buying the nice watch, you know, the patio furniture, the list just goes on and on and on of the things that we can buy. And, you know, those are things that are designed to be sold to us, right? How many times have we been looking online, reading an article or something, and an ad pops up and we're like, wow, that looks really cool. We end up buying it, but going in, we didn't know we wanted it. And you know what, 2 weeks later, we don't use it, and it doesn't bring joy to our life. So, you know, the problem with stuff is over time, your stuff owns you, right? You got to keep it maintained. You got to keep it secured. It takes space. So I'm not a fan of spending money on stuff, but I am a big fan of spending money on adventures. It also ties into the first one, creates good memories. So my number 2 one is spending money on adventures and anything that takes your breath away. Boy, those moments are priceless. So try to get as many of those into your life as you can. Okay, the third one, and this one I'm kind of cheating on. I think from a financial return on investment, might be one of the lower ones, but from a joy and purpose to life, it just rocks your world, and there's probably nothing else like it. For those of you that are parents, you probably know where I'm going with this, and that's kids, right? Kids are expensive. They're a ton of work. And financially, you know, do we get a quote unquote return on our investment in our kids? Maybe, maybe not. You know, it depends on your culture. In some cultures, that's a family's retirement plan is their kids. In the U.S. culture, much less so. But at least for me, you know, and I'm a numbers guy, and, you know, candidly, when I was younger, I wasn't sure that I wanted to be a parent. Fortunately for me, and I tell my wife this often, For me, it was a blessing that she convinced me to, that I could be a good dad. I wasn't sure I'd be a good dad. And she convinced me, there's a lot of qualities about you that'll make you a good dad. And obviously, there's a lot of qualities about me that give me a challenge being a parent too. But fortunately, she believed in me more than I believed in myself. And as I look back, it's by far the most rewarding thing that I've done. So number 3 on the list is kids. Again, I'm kind of bending that return on investment, and the return there is just the joy that it gives you, the purpose, the meaning in life, just the awe that you get in living your life through your kids' eyes, and seeing your 3-year-old experience something for the first time. Boy, it's hard to beat that. But there's also a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of worrying, things like that. So number 3 is kids. Okay, let's see. Number 4. Number 4 is one of my favorites. It's not the favorite. Remember, coming up last is my favorite of all of these. And by the way, if you're enjoying this video, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, give me a like. It really does help the algorithm. Do me a favor, really just take a second, click that like button, helps me out a lot. Okay, number 4 is books. I read a lot of books, at least 50 books a year, probably closer to 100. And I kind of cheat. I'm an Audible type person. This is not sponsored by Audible, but I do listen to a lot of Audible books. I find them, just super motivational, and they get me in the right headspace. But you think about it, if you sign up for like a yearly plan on Audible, it's like, for me, I buy enough credits at a time that it's about $10 a credit. But let's say it's $12 a credit, or whatever the retail rate is, where you get one a month. Boy, first off, oftentimes it's less expensive than the actual book. But even if you like reading the physical books, which are great too, you are learning somebody's life expertise. And, if you spend $20 for a book, certainly $30, that's a lot of money. So I think books give us one of the highest return on investments that we can get. Just the amount of time and effort that goes into a book. And, if you were to do a video course by the author, or what's called a cohort-based course by the author, where there's a group of people going through the experience together, that can cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. But you can often get the book for $20. It's just the most incredible deal out there. And, some of the best books, obviously, the ones that have stood the test of time, the classics, that we were kind of told we had to read in high school. I've gone back and said, there must be a reason that these books were so popular. And the ones that stood the test of time, they really are amazing books. And, oftentimes those books are like $1 or $5, because the copyright has expired on it. So you can get those very inexpensively. I have not read it yet, but I do want to read Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. That's supposed to be really good. But here's 4 books that I have read. And remember, stick around, because I'm about to give you what I consider to be the highest return investment we can ever make in our lives. But 4 books that I've read. The first is Viktor Frankl's Meaning of Life. And I'm not going to go through what these books are. You can just look them up. Bill Perkins' Die with Zero. Arthur Brooks has a book called Strength to Strength, about as we get older, how we can transition and continue to grow in our profession, even as we age and our skills change. And just quickly, Bill Perkins' Die with Zero is about really making good investments with your money, and using it when you're young and can use the money, as opposed to hoarding it and having millions and millions of dollars in your 90s when there's not a lot you can do with it. And then finally, Mo Gawdat, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. It's Gawdat, Mo Gawdat. And his book is Solve for Happy. I think that's a great book. Okay, my number 1 return on investment idea, and that is to invest in yourself. If you have things that you have a passion for, maybe you currently don't have the skill set or the education needed for something that you have a passion for. Maybe you got to go back to school or go to a coding boot camp. But, investing in yourself, not only does it give you a return on investment financially, but it gives you a return on investment in your time. You know, we have one life to live. And we want to make sure that we're living our life, the life that we want to live. We don't want to look back with regret. So that's my top idea. I hope you found this video helpful. Again, if you did, give me a thumbs up. It really does help the algorithm find other viewers. And as the kids say, thumbs for likes and subs for love. And until next time, I'm Azul, encouraging you to take full advantage of the youth of your senior years. Remember, we're only young once. Let's use our time wisely.